You see what I'm saying? I.e., the serial killers, i.e., people that commit the horrific crimes. These people, these are also spirits. It doesn't always have to be, you know, what we spoke about. You know, some people think, okay, um, being infested with a demonic spirit has to be, you know, shown. What's happening in the world shows that there's a level of demonic influence in what's happening in our leaders, in our friends and families. It's there. So sometimes it's closer to home. It doesn't always have to manifest as a symptom or a syndrome or some sort of labeled disease, as we call it, or disability. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what you got to say about that?
So I mean, I can't actually speak on things that I don't actually understand in the sense of speaking of why God allowed these certain things. God could have learned certain things because of what the family done before, prior to that. You know, that's what could have happened. And obviously,
It's like a curse from the family,
yeah,
and it
but
would
God,
not.
it doesn't matter. What I understand of God is that God kill and God make, God can heal. So it doesn't matter what happened. God can rectify it because He's God.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
God can rectify it. Doesn't matter what happened. But the thing that we must also understand is that these spirits, although God make them do what they're doing, God already pronounced their judgment of what's going to happen to them in the end. God
Yeah,
pronounced it.
but it's like a wreckage. So okay, so before we actually come to that, because if you sit and wait for, hey, it can be, if you're talking about if you're waiting on it, like let's say somebody's karma for wreaking havoc on your family or for wreaking havoc on your life or your workplace or whatever the case. Thank you, Kyle. You know, you have to say, why would God allow this to happen? Look at the people that are dying.
Well,
See what I'm saying?
when we say things like this, we like to segregate sin and say,
Okay.
okay, why God allow this? But then why God allow people to steal and to do this and God don't trouble them? It's the same. To
Pardon?
all of them equal to death. Yes.
That's true, but what I'm saying is, okay, let's look at it on a wider scale then. Let's look at it on a wider scale. Our world leaders, yeah, you're gonna tell me that there's not a demonic influence in there.
No, we don't say that. I just told you. I just said that the world is under influence of demonic spirits that's lead us to this to fight against God.
That's what I'm saying to you. So what I'm okay. So we understand that this has to play out because it's biblical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand that part. However, we're talking about okay. Let's look at it on the smaller scale. Look at all the different religions. We all know that all of these other different religions are all demonic influence. They're all fooling people. Do you see what I'm saying?
And
But God is allowing people. Look, not everybody can make their own choices. We all don't seem to understand that, that there's only one way to heaven. And some people, they need a little help.
yeah.
Do you get where I'm coming
So
from?
I'm gonna ask you a question from your point of view, as you are now. Yes, with your mindset that you have now, right? Let's say
Right.
you were put to judge a Muslim, a Christian, Hindu, a Buddha, and all that, and you had the power, were given the power to put them into hell or put them into heaven. You had the power to put them back on earth. How would you judge them? And are you going to know the knowledge, the background, what they know? What would you judge them on?
Me?
Yes, you.
Would judge them on their whole life.
Yes. And then how would you judge them on their whole life?
Well, if you are trying to get me to say that at the end of the day, at the end of the day, basically, this is happening because of what your forefathers have done.
No. I'm asking you to judge them on their own life from your perspective, understanding they have these religions. Yes, they have the religion, but they also have the religion and they live a life even with the religion. So how would you judge them?
I don't know. That sounds like a trick question. Sorry, it sounds like a trick question. That's hard. That's hard. That's hard. I have to be careful how I answer that. That's really hard. Because I know the Bible says some people perish because of lack of knowledge. But what happens if you never got the opportunity to learn, or like, last week our thing say, what happened if somebody sort of died on the way to knowing, or I don't know, something happened that you didn't get to fulfill what you were meant to do,
So my answer to you is, if you, being an unjust person, can
Mhm.
can try to